What up, YouTube? How you guys doing today? Let me ask you a question. Do you guys feel like DoorDash is dying in your market? Or are you guys sitting in parking lots for hours at a time and not getting no orders? Because that seems to be happening a lot in my market, more often than not. There's days where it gets really bad. For an instance, yesterday was Tuesday, and I worked 4.5 hours lunch shift, and this was my payout. I literally worked 4.5 hours and only made $11, which is absolutely crazy. And granted, it doesn't happen like that all the time, but it is happening more often, and it does seem like it's a weekly thing that this is happening. Are you guys seeing any of this stuff? You know, I have talked to other dashers in the area. The dashers in my area are kind of like a little brotherhood type of thing. Instead of us all working against each other or in competition against each other, we're all on the same team, which is pretty cool because we can all talk to each other and see how we're doing and seeing who's doing good and who's doing bad, what ratings are what, and stuff like this. And I know a lot of people will say that, you know, in the comments when I've commented before about it being slow in the market, there's people saying, oh, well, it's probably your ratings. Well, here's my ratings for the people that are saying it's about ratings or questioning my ratings and all this and that. Here's my ratings. So it's not the ratings that's the issue. I don't know what the issue is, but here's something weird that happened. Yesterday, when I had that $11 a day on 4.5 hours, I was talking to one of my other buddies that dashes here, and while I made $11 in 4.5 hours, he had a $300 day. And when people throw out those kind of numbers, they're a lot of times people are just full of shit and talking out their ass. So I was like, hey, show me your numbers, you know. And he did, and he was at like 285 or something crazy, and he was on a stack delivery that was going to put him over $300. So while I sat in the parking lot, basically 50 feet from him, in a parking lot that's full of restaurants, I only got an $11 payout for 4.5 hours, while granted, he didn't work a 4-hour day. He was on like a 10-hour day. I think he was like 9-hour day is what he was at that point when I had talked to him. But he was at basically $300. And you know, I've heard through the grapevine that DoorDash, the platform, is designed for iPhones, and which has kind of been a little bit of an urban legend, but it's kind of making more of a believer out of me the more this stuff happens, because granted, there's days where we've all had slow days, right? Where I'm having a slow day and I talk to the other guys and all the other guys are like, yeah, dude, it's super slow today. But when you have an $11 day for 4.5 hours, and other people are having $300 days in the same exact market, in the same exact spot that you're dashing, I mean, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, it's because there's a lot of dashers in that area. There's really not a lot of dashers. I mean, yeah, it is oversaturated for sure, but there's not as many dashers in this area as you would think, for as many restaurants and as many orders that are coming through. They're literally getting orders back to back to back, while I'm sitting 50 feet from the stores, 50 feet from the other dashers, and I'm not getting one order every 2 hours on really bad days. And yesterday was probably like the worst day that I've had on DoorDash. I've never had an $11 payout for 4.5 hours. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's going on. I know a lot of people will be like, well, you need to uninstall and reinstall your app. Well, everybody knows that. I mean, people come in the comments and say stuff that's common sense like that, acting like they know something special about the system, or they, saying common sense stuff that everybody knows. Everybody knows that, if you're having problems with the app, or you're having slow days, or something's just not right, uninstall, reinstall the app, and go through the motions and do that. And I actually did that, and it didn't help. So I ended up going home at like 5 o'clock ish, and because I had a bunch of crap I had to do at home that I had been putting off because I had been working so much. But when you have a slow day like that, there's no use sitting in a parking lot for 4, 5, 6 hours at a time and only making $20. There's no reason for it. So I don't know. I'm also a part of a bunch of DoorDash Facebook groups on Facebook, and a lot of people are on there complaining about not only it being slow, but the pre-scheduling nightmare. People aren't even able to schedule anymore in our market. And that's a whole nother video that I'm going to probably end up making too, because that also needs to be talked about. But just glancing on it, there's people here that are not getting schedules, and then when they do get schedules, they're not making any money. Like there's dashers out here that I've talked to that do think that cherry picking is the way in a market where you're not getting enough orders to have that cherry picking benefit, and they're making not very good money at all. They're actually having a lot of slow days. But when you, like I said, when you're only getting one order every 2 hours, you don't have the benefit to cherry pick. So that's out the window in my market. Guys in big markets like San Diego, San Francisco, LA, all these big markets that are getting 8 to 10 offers an hour, yeah, you do have the benefit of cherry picking at that point. But when you're only getting one order hit your phone every 2 hours, you don't have that benefit to cherry pick. You have to take what you can, because either one, you're not going to make any money, or two, your total deliveries for the month are going to drop down so low that you're going to go out of the platinum status, which I was struggling to get back because I had taken some time off about a month ago and got sick for a couple weeks. But luckily my total deliveries did get back up to where now I'm not even worried about it. But it's been an ongoing problem that seems to be getting worse and worse. I mean, I'll typically have a slow day, maybe 2 slow days every week, but it's still to where I could put money into my bank account weekly and it not hurt me to be out here on a couple slow days, But like I said, I've never had a day where I've only made $11 in 4.5 hours. That was crazy. And I would have been even dumber to sit out here and give it another 4 hours. It just wasn't worth it. So I don't know what's going on. Are you guys dealing with any of this? Not talking about the scheduling issue. We'll talk about that later. But are you guys having slow days in your market more and more often than you were 6 months ago? Are you guys noticing DoorDash dying in your market? Because it is. Everybody that I've known that's DoorDash typically leads to other apps and goes somewhere else and does that. And I know everybody multi-apps. I mean, everybody does that. So before you guys say in the comments, do multi-apping. Well, we all multi-app. And like me, I am on the Grubhub wait list, and I've been on it for months and months and months. And I'm on the Walmart Spark wait list. And I'm pretty excited to get onto that because I've been waiting for a long time. I've been notified that to be ready, because I'm in the next group of people that's going to be implemented into, or basically accepted into the Spark program. So that's going to be cool. I'm actually excited about the Walmart Spark thing. But I do DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, and Uber is probably the worst out of them all. I mean, it's like you might as well not even worry about. In my market, Uber sucks. You could literally sit out here all day long for 8 hours and only get 2 or 3 orders hit your phone. So they're kind of like supplemental, and I don't even know if that would be considered supplemental or not. But in Instacart, the only thing that pops off on Instacart in my market is Aldi's, and it's gotten real questionable at Aldi's with Instacart, because you'll get a good offer for, like, I don't know, $30 for 10 miles or something like that, right? But you'll go to Aldi's and 70% of the stuff that they want is out of stock, and you'll end up making $10 for 10 miles, and it takes you an hour to go through all these and verify that half of the stuff or 70% of the stuff is not even in stock, and you got to notify the customer and then wait to see if they want to supplement it with something else, and it's just a nightmare. All these Instacart isn't that great in my market, but so it's the gig work is slowing down in Central California, especially in my market here in Visalia. But don't get me wrong, there are days where DoorDash is kicking. You know, like last week, I had a really good week. I had a really good paycheck. Nothing to complain about. Yeah, I worked quite a bit of hours for it, and I worked 7 days last week to get that paycheck. But the money was there. So with that being said, are you guys noticing DoorDash dying in your market? Have you guys noticed that there's an issue, or with you guys, an issue with really slow days? Maybe your phone server goes down, or I don't know what could be the problem, but it needed to be talked about, because I've talked to, like I said, I've talked to other people, and it's they're doing good, and then other drivers are having horrible days. So let me know in the comments what your experience is. But with that, till next time, guys, peace.